Well, hello and welcome back to another episode. It's great to see you all. I hope you're doing well. So today I just wanted to make a quick video, really just to make a couple of announcements and to particularly explain why the latest episode in the tutorial series on linear algebra in C++ has been delayed. So regular subscribers to my channel, you're going to know that, of course it's now been this Monday, of course, a couple of weeks since I last posted anything. And I want to say your work is in progress. I am hoping to get the next video in that series ready and out by next week. So it's going to be on eigenvectors and eigenvalues and how we can implement code in C++ to compute those for various matrices. So it should be really interesting. So do keep an eye out for that. And, I'm sorry for the delay, but of course it's one of those things, things just do sometimes get in the way despite my best efforts. I always say that I try to post a video roughly once a week, which I really do, and I do my best, but sometimes things just get in the way. So I did say on my Facebook page that I've been helping my wife create content for some of her work, so that's taken up some time. And of course my day job has taken up a lot of time as well. I do actually have a day job outside of YouTube. I work as a senior research scientist and I work on the development of new medical diagnostic technologies, particularly focused around medical imaging. And a lot of this work is actually to do with algorithm development and software development and things, which is really sort of where my skills in that sort of area come from. But one thing that's really great about that is it's work that I can do remotely, which I've been doing on and off now for many years actually, and which is really great, and I've really enjoyed that. Of course, now with the pandemic, a lot of people have been working from home and working remotely that wouldn't have done before. For me, it didn't really make that much difference, at least in terms of work, so I'm very lucky in that regard. And, it also gives me a great deal of flexibility, which is fantastic. This is how I get to be in this lovely sunny location right now. So this is actually my house in Thailand, where my wife and I like to come every year if we can, as much as possible. And so we like to come here if we can, to escape the British winter when possible. Now, obviously, last year, 2020, of course, that just wasn't possible. So, that kind of changed all of our normal routine and things for us. Not complaining, of course, the pandemic has affected everybody's lives and many people much more severely than mine. I realise that. But anyway, the good thing is this year we did actually manage to make it here, so that's really nice. And as you can see, it at the very least provides a better backdrop, I think, for my videos compared to my small apartment back in the UK. Anyway, yeah, so very lucky in that regard, I think. Okay, so the other thing I wanted to announce is that the code for the linear algebra series, I am planning to put that up onto GitHub fairly soon. Now, I've had quite a few people requesting that I make the source code available, and I get that. I mean, one thing that I sort of wanted to say is that in the past I've resisted doing that. I've done the previous series on various things, on fractals in C++ and on developing a 2D primitives library that works with SDL2 and that kind of thing. And I've always resisted the temptation to make that source code available. And my thinking with that has always been that my intention with these videos really more is to inspire other people, inspire people out there like yourselves to go and write the code yourself rather than simply copying my code. And I've always just thought if the code is just available, there's always that temptation to simply download it from GitHub and then just use it without really questioning it or thinking about what's going on. And I mean, we all do that, right? We all use other people's libraries, open source libraries and things, and we all do that. But what I wanted to achieve really with this channel was to, as I say, inspire people to think about these problems themselves and come up with their own solutions to the problems rather than just sort of copying mine. And I think that works fine for the relatively small projects, like the 2D primitives library, for example, is quite simple and it's quite small, there's not that much code. But one thing I thought with the linear algebra library that we're doing now, there's over 1,000, I think 1,200 lines of code in the matrix class, in the QB matrix 2 class alone. And it occurred to me, of course, that for people coming in and joining the series now, that's, people like coming in and say, so the next episode will be on eigenvectors, for example. So someone might come to my channel just to watch that video, and they're not going to want to go back to the beginning of the series and then type in all of that code for everything in order to be able to make the content of that video work. So when I thought about it like that, and coupled with, as I say, a few people requesting it, I thought, well, yeah, okay, I think probably now is the time that I should actually make this code available. So that will be happening. So next week, when hopefully I'll be putting out the eigenvector video at the same time, I will be making the source code for the library that we're putting together available on GitHub as well. But I will announce that formally at the time. So it isn't there yet, but it will be in time for the video next week. So do keep an eye out for that. Of course, I'll be presenting it as a work in progress and as something that's really more intended to be educational rather than a definitive linear algebra library. There are actually many really good linear algebra libraries out there for C++ already, which of course actually brings me to another point, which is the perfectly obvious question that someone asked me the other day is why bother creating your own library for linear algebra library for C++, given that there are many really excellent ones out there already. And yeah, to me, I love creating things from first principles. So I just really enjoy doing that. I like to build things from the ground up. And take that approach to problem solving, and it's the best way to learn how things really work. I don't intend in any way this library to be a replacement for any of the other libraries that are out there, but really I think it just serves, for me it has served as a fantastic way of learning more about these techniques, more about the in-depth nature of these various algorithms, and yeah, just actually, to be honest, in a really geeky way, I just find it kind of fun. So yeah, that's me. Yeah, and so that was my answer to the question, and that's the point of it. Really, is to learn and to have fun and to just experience solving problems from first principles and building these things up, which is, as I say, always something I enjoy doing. Okay, so another side project that I wanted to just quickly talk about, I've been working on developing a set of tools for Blender that will allow me to create more interesting three-dimensional visualizations to help with illustrating some of the points we're talking about in this tutorial series, which I thought might be quite a good idea. And again, adopting the sort of building everything up from first principles approach that I tend to do all the time, I've approached this by developing my own set of classes and functions in Python, using the Python scripting capabilities of Blender, which are frankly amazing. And yeah, so I'm working on tools to help me create visualizations such as this example that you can see here. And I really just hope that will really add to my videos, really help to firstly illustrate complex or more complex points that, that we're trying to talk about, and hopefully also just make things a little bit more interesting. But it's another thing that has actually been taking up my time, and yeah, it's by no means complete. There's a lot of work to do on it, and maybe something else that I might think about talking about specifically, or making videos specifically on that at a future date, possibly. We'll see. It's one of those things when you write code just for yourself, sometimes you don't really want to show that to other people, so I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. Anyway, but yeah, so maybe that will come up, but should pay dividends in the short term, at least in terms of making my videos more interesting, which hopefully for the very next video on eigenvectors, it will be making its debut appearance, if you like, in terms of the visualizations to go with that, so do keep an eye out for that. Anyway, I think that's really just about enough from me for now. I really should get back to work, and so that there's a chance to get the next video out in time for next week. And once again, just want to apologize for, losing a couple of weeks out of the regular tutorial series. Sometimes things just get in the way. We all have other things to do. This YouTube channel for me is, as I say, just a hobby and something I do in my spare time. So sometimes, I have to let it slip in order to make way for other things, for the things particularly that pay the bills. So the next video in the tutorial series on linear algebra in C++, where we'll be looking at eigenvectors and eigenvalues, will hopefully, fingers crossed, be available next week. So I'm going to be working on that, or continuing to work on that over the next week, and hopefully we'll get that finished. And that should be ready, and hopefully it will be of interest, so do watch this space. And it just leaves me to say, if you haven't yet subscribed to my channel, do please consider doing so and hitting the bell icon for notifications. I do try, as I've said, to post a video roughly once a week, though of course I don't always make it, but if you subscribe, you don't need to worry about missing anything. Thank you very much, and of course, as always, if you've liked this video, please do also remember to hit that like button. Okay, and any comments and suggestions, whatever, let me know in the comments below. Always good to hear from you. And yeah, otherwise, hope you all have a great day. And yeah, I'll see you next week. Bye.